Listen carefully, because what follows carries the weight of an entire lifetime of thinking, living, failing, questioning, and growing. And it took 75 years for this understanding to fully take shape in my mind. I truly believe that no matter who you are, whether you pray 5 times a day, whether you have never stepped into a church, mosque, synagogue, or temple, or whether you are still unsure what you believe, this message matters to you. I ask only that you stay with me for a few minutes and resist the urge to skip ahead, because what I am about to share was earned slowly, painfully, and honestly across decades of real life. My name is Russell. I am 75 years old, and for as long as I can remember, I've been wrestling with one fundamental question that every human being encounters at some point in their life, whether they admit it openly or not. That question is simple to ask, but incredibly difficult to answer. What do I actually believe? I grew up in a household where Sunday was not optional or negotiable. We were in church every single week without exception. My father served as a deacon, my mother taught Sunday school, and I was memorizing Bible verses before I even knew how to tie my shoes properly. In those early years, everything felt clear and stable. The answers seemed fixed, written in black and white, and there was comfort in that certainty. Doubt was not something you expressed out loud. Questions were quietly discouraged, and faith was treated as something you accepted, not something you examined. What no one tells you when you are young is that life has no respect for certainty. Life does not care how confident you are in the answers you were given as a child. It introduces experiences that do not fit neatly into the explanations you were taught. When I was 23 years old, my best friend died in a car accident. He was a genuinely good man, better than me in many ways. He helped people without expecting anything in return. He was kind, generous, and thoughtful. And in a single moment, he was gone. I remember standing at his funeral, listening to familiar words about God's plan and a better place. And for the first time in my life, I felt something stronger than sadness. I felt anger. None of it made sense to me anymore, and pretending that it did felt dishonest. That anger started something inside me that I could not turn off. I began asking real questions, not the kind of questions you ask in Sunday school, where the acceptable answer is already known. I read everything I could find. I read the Bible deeply, but I also read the Quran. I studied Buddhist teachings, Hindu philosophy, and the writings of people who rejected religion entirely. What surprised me most was this: every single tradition contained something true. Every single one offered insight into the human condition, suffering, love, fear, and meaning. About 30 years ago, I met a man at work who was a devout Muslim. At first, I kept my distance, influenced by assumptions and ideas I had absorbed without ever examining them. One evening, we were working late on a project and ended up talking, not superficially, but honestly. He explained the 5 pillars of Islam, what prayer meant to him, the importance of charity, compassion, discipline, and submitting to something greater than oneself. Sitting there late at night in a nearly empty office, I realized something profound. He was describing the same longing I felt when I knelt to pray. The words were different, the rituals were different, but the hunger for connection, for meaning beyond the self, was exactly the same. Some people assume that this realization leads to the conclusion that all religions are the same, or that belief does not matter as long as you are a good person. That is not what I believe. The differences do matter. They matter because they represent different ways of understanding existence, different languages for expressing truths that are difficult to articulate. But what matters more than those differences is what every genuine spiritual tradition ultimately points toward. Love people. Help people. Do not be cruel. Stay humble. Accept that you do not possess all the answers. Over the years, I have participated in Jewish seders and felt the weight of survival and history stretching back thousands of years. I have sat in meditation with Buddhists and experienced a stillness I never knew was possible. I have worshipped with Pentecostals, whose expressions of joy would have deeply unsettled my old Presbyterian pastor. In each of these spaces, I encountered something real, something honest, something pointing toward truth in its own way. I have also seen the dark side. I have watched religion used as a weapon. I have seen families torn apart because someone married outside their faith. I have seen teenagers rejected by their own parents for asking sincere questions. I have seen wars justified, prejudice defended, and cruelty committed in the name of God. Every time it broke my heart, because none of this was ever meant to produce fear or hatred. When I was 50 years old, my life fell into crisis. My marriage was strained, money was tight, and I was drinking far more than I should have been. One night, alone in my garage at 2 a.m, I did something I had not done in years. I prayed, not with memorized words or rehearsed language, but honestly. I admitted that I did not know what I believed. I admitted that I did not know if anyone was listening. I simply said that if there was anything real beyond myself, I needed help because I could not continue alone. Nothing dramatic happened. There was no voice, no vision, no miracle. But the next morning, my neighbor, a man I barely knew, knocked on my door and invited me for coffee. We talked for hours. He shared his own struggles with alcohol and told me how he found help. He pointed me toward resources I did not know existed. Was that God? Was it coincidence? Was it simple human kindness? I still do not know, and I have learned that maybe the answer is not as important as we think. As I grow older, my certainty about specifics has faded. I do not know exactly what happens after we die. I do not know whether heaven and hell exist as literal places, whether reincarnation is real, or whether this life is all there is. I do not know which prayers are correct, or which day truly matters most. What I do know is that the mystery of existence is far greater than any single tradition or belief system. The right response to that mystery is not arrogance or certainty, but awe, humility, and wonder. I watch younger generations walking away from organized religion, and I understand why. They have witnessed hypocrisy, judgment, and harm caused by people who claimed to speak for God. I do not blame them, but I want them to know this. Do not abandon the search for meaning simply because some people corrupted it. Do not stop asking the big questions because you were given shallow or harmful answers. You do not have to accept everything you were taught. You do not have to remain in a tradition that starves your soul. But do not stop seeking connection, purpose, and belonging. That longing is not conditioning or manipulation. It is deeply human and profoundly real. I still attend church most Sundays, not because I think it makes me superior or guarantees salvation, but because gathering with others, singing together, sitting in silence, and wrestling with meaning nourishes something inside me. I also meet a Muslim friend for coffee every week. I read Buddhist teachings before bed. I learn from atheists who have spent more time thinking seriously about ethics than many believers I have known. All of this has taught me that the goal is not to possess the right answers. The goal is to remain curious, humble, and open. Every person you encounter carries a piece of truth shaped by their own experiences, especially when that truth looks nothing like yours. My wife passed away 3 years ago after 52 years of marriage. In her final weeks, she asked me if I thought we would see each other again. I told her the truth. I did not know, but I hoped so. And if there is any justice or love at the center of existence, then I believe we will. Whether that was faith, hope, or something else entirely, I no longer worry about labeling it. What matters most is not what you believe, but how you treat others because of what you believe. If your beliefs make you kinder, more compassionate, more humble, and more willing to serve, then they are serving their purpose. If they make you cruel, judgmental, arrogant, or fearful, then something has gone wrong, regardless of the label attached to them. I'm 75 years old, and I am still learning. I am still questioning. I'm still discovering truth and beauty in unexpected places. I would not trade that curiosity for certainty if given the chance. No matter where you stand, whether you are deeply religious, completely skeptical, or somewhere in between, your questions matter. Your doubts do not make you weak. Your search for meaning is one of the most human things about you. Do not let anyone take that away from you or convince you they possess all the answers to a mystery far larger than any of us. Stay curious, stay humble, love people, help people, be kind. Keep asking the big questions, because those questions are what make us human. This channel exists for people my age to share what life has taught them through struggle, growth, and reflection. If this message meant something to you, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. And if you have a story you believe others need to hear, you are welcome to share it through the form in the description. The next story might be yours. Keep searching, keep questioning, keep being kind. As I reach the final part of this message, I want to slow down for a moment, because endings matter just as much as beginnings. If you have stayed with me this far, it tells me something about you. It tells me you are willing to listen, to reflect, and to sit with ideas that do not fit into neat boxes. That alone says more about your character than any label ever could. Life does not hand us clean conclusions. It gives us unfinished sentences, unanswered questions, and moments that stay with us long after the noise fades. What I have learned, especially in these later years, is that peace does not come from solving every mystery. Peace comes from learning how to live gently inside the mystery, without fear, without arrogance, and without closing your heart. If there is one thing I hope you take from all of this, it is not a belief system or a doctrine. It is an orientation toward life, an openness, a willingness to admit that you do not know everything and that you never will. That humility creates space for compassion. It creates room for listening. It allows you to see other people not as enemies or strangers, but as fellow travelers trying to make sense of the same confusing world. You will meet people who are absolutely convinced they are right and that everyone else is wrong. You will meet people who use certainty as armor and judgment as a shield. Do not become like them. Certainty can feel powerful, but it often closes the door to growth. Curiosity, on the other hand, keeps the door open for learning, healing, and connection. As your life unfolds, you will change. Your beliefs will evolve. Some ideas you hold tightly today may loosen their grip tomorrow. That is not failure. That is growth. Allow yourself to grow without shame. Allow yourself to question without guilt. Allow yourself to hold hope even when you are unsure what shape that hope takes. In the end, when all the noise quiets and the years pass by faster than you expect, what remains will not be how certain you were. It will be how you made people feel. It will be the kindness you showed when it was inconvenient. It will be the grace you offered when judgment would have been easier. It will be the love you gave freely, without demanding agreement or sameness in return. So keep walking your path, even when it feels unclear. Keep listening, even when the answers do not come quickly. Keep choosing kindness, even when the world feels hard and divided. If there is something sacred in this life, I believe it lives there, in those quiet choices we make every day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying. And wherever your journey leads, may it be guided by curiosity, humility, and a deep respect for the shared humanity that connects us all.